Now only a day away, many folks in our area say they are happy this is almost over. Today, KIMT News 3's Casey Walsh spoke to voters on the past year full of politics and how they're ready to move forward. He joins us now live in Studio 3. Casey. Southern Minnesota officer will not have charges filed against him after shooting a suspect during an arrest. It happened in April after a high-speed chase in Austin. Officer Adam Scott shot Edgar Rodriguez as the suspect was trying to ram him with his car. The Olmsted County attorney investigated this and determined that it was an authorized use of force by the officer. Rodriguez is pleading guilty to property damage and fleeing an officer. He'll be sentenced in February. In just 4 years, death by heroin overdose went up nearly 250% among Americans. Santa, along with a local group that helps kids overcome serious health challenges, got together to give a big gift this weekend. KIMT News 3's Stefante Randall shows us the new room for a boy fighting cancer. Thank you, Tyler. AJ's joining us now. There may only be one guarantee when it comes to the NFC North this season, and that is that the Bears will storm from the bottom of the pack.
That's not
up
what
to
the
the
wording.
Yeah.
Teleprompter doesn't say
That's
that,
not what the
Matt.
teleprompter says.
No, okay. Well, we have no idea what's
Yeah,
going to happen.
and if somebody tells you they think they know what's going to happen, don't listen to them, because after another wacky day, it's pretty clear nobody has
I know.
any clue what's going on.
So I get the distinct impression that nobody here believes that the Bears are planning to make up a three-game deficit in the NFC North.
No one
Not
believes
very
that.
likely.
Nobody believes
No.
that.
More than half of Americans say the 2016 presidential election has them stressed out. That's according to a survey from the American Psychological Association. And it looks like even more people in our area are feeling the stress too leading up to tomorrow. Our KIMT.com poll reveals 63% of respondents say they are nervous for the outcome. 20% say they are a little nervous. 15%, meanwhile, say no, whatever happens, happens. 2% are neutral. So a total of 83% of people are at least a little bit nervous about what's happening tomorrow. We're 2 days away now. 48 hours from now, we'll have a pretty good idea, most likely, of how things are going. You've been here every week now for a year. Final thoughts. Well, we've been talking about FBI Director James Comey, and last week we talked about the bombshell that he dropped and essentially reopening the investigation into Clinton because of some new emails that had been discovered. And today he announced that they've reviewed those and he still recommends no charges. Is that the last push that you think she needs among the undecideds? I want to wrap up with the simplest question of all, your prediction for Tuesday.
You think that's a simple question?
Now, here is something that everybody can get behind, no matter who you support on Election Day.
Yeah, we are all voting for this weather.
Thanks for turning to us for your local election coverage. About a half hour left for Iowa voters to cast a ballot tonight. Polls now closed in Minnesota, though we are still waiting for results to trickle in. Here are some of the races that we're watching closely for you tonight. Voters throughout southern Minnesota had a chance to sound off in this race today, with longtime Representative DFLer Tim Walz facing another challenge from Republican Jim Hagedorn. So far, no results in this race. In Minnesota, Democrats have an 11-seat majority in the state Senate. Republicans looking to take over that house of the legislature. And if that's going to happen, it is important for this race to turn over. Longtime DFL Senator Dan Sparks represents Senate District 27, covering Albert Lee and Austin. He's facing a challenge from Gene Dornick. So far, no results. In Iowa, Democrats hold the state Senate by 3 seats coming into today. Republicans have the House by 14, and several local races are going to play into how that is broken up next year. Senate District 26 covers Northwood, Osage, Cresco is the subject of a lot of campaign ads and dollars. Mary Jo Wilhelm trying to fend off Republican challenger Waylon Brown in this, and Brown so far is ahead, but only by about 37 votes right now. This has proven to be an incredible race here on the presidential side. What are your thoughts as you watch all of this happen? Turnout does seem to be going against some of the polls that we saw, and we were talking about that math problem. We looked at states like Florida and North Carolina and some of these tight ones that really kind of all have to domino in his way, and so far, even though they haven't been called, it's looking like it could happen. Polls across our area are officially closed, and we are seeing results come pouring in, so let's get right to it. First, the only U.S. Senate race in our 2 states. Patty Judge was ahead of Chuck Grassley in the count about 30 minutes ago. Now, King, the longtime member of Congress, is appearing to fend off the challenge from Weaver, 57% to 43%, with only a small number of precincts reporting so far. A North Iowa House seat that was highly contested was this one, Iowa House District 26. Waylon Brown trying to unseat Democrat Mary Jo Wilhelm. And here are the most recent numbers. Now, this seat covers Northwood, Osage, New Hampton, and Cresco, 61% going to the Republican here. Now, a few states have been called in the race for president that we want to update you on. Hawaii has gone to Clinton, and North Carolina, a big prize tonight, is going in the Trump column. For some analysis of our Iowa races, Bennett Smith is joining us now. So what are you seeing as far as how Iowa is playing out tonight? Out strong on immigration was something that so many of the other Republican primary candidates were criticized for not doing, and then he did, and that's what got the ball rolling for him, and it's coming to this day now. Longtime Sheriff Jay Langenbaugh, it appears, is being unseated this evening, one of the shocks of election night. Now, we are still waiting to see who is going to take State Representative Josh Burns' spot. Several races affect Rochester tonight, including State Senate District 26 between Carla Nelson and Rich Wright. Wright is a former assistant city attorney. Nelson is currently serving in the Senate, and she looks to be keeping her seat with 56% of the vote tonight. On the State House level, District 26A covers most of Rochester. Tina Liebling, GOP newcomer Will Wagoner facing off. Liebling looks to be holding on to her seat in this case. Covering northern Rochester, State House 25B, Republican Fran Bradley going against DFLer Dwayne Salk. Right now, Salk 52 to 48%. Now, we're seeing some surprises tonight, not only locally, but on the national level. And for some perspective on this is Dr. Eric Shores. You've been watching the presidential returns come in. It seems that a lot of people seriously underestimated Trump's support out there. All right, Amy, thank you very much. And as Amy just explained, the electoral vote worked in Trump's benefit last night. So now we've seen that twice in 2 decades. First of all, thank you for joining us for a very long night last night.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
We appreciated the insight. So now we're talking about the Electoral College. This, kind of like what we saw in 2000, is spurring a bit of a backlash against it right now. Is the Electoral College a good idea or a bad idea? So if there were no incentive for the candidates to get around and see, you know, the lower population areas, they just wouldn't show up. Even among his supporters, I think there's a little unease about how much of that was bluster and how much is going to be pen to paper. Now, throughout the day, we've seen Hillary Clinton, President Obama, and last night Donald Trump all have very measured tones, much different than we've seen in the campaign. Is that going to stay through the end of this lame duck session? Enjoy it while you can.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us. We'll see you back here at 6.
Okay, thank you.